All right, guys, how in the heck are you doing? I just want to get on here and do our daily talk. I have a couple things I want to cover with you. First and foremost, thank God it's Friday. And I would say that every day if I'm being totally honest. I've got the blessing to be able to work from home, and that is going to kind of be part of what I talk about today. I still have not got a different camera installed on this particular system or area of the war room, but I like the background of the books and whatnot. And I know that when I get all Italian here, the camera goes in and out. So I'm going to keep the hands down and try to limit my movement until I figure out either a setting that keeps it from doing that, or I get a different camera system put on this. I also don't have the lights put up, don't have any fancy overlays or anything like that going on. I think I might have one that I'll put up, but other than that, I just want to let you know that I want to talk today about a couple things. First and foremost, I want to talk about consistency, and then I want to talk about freedom. I want to talk about autonomy, and then I also want to give a little bit of a callback to the get to versus have to that we talked about in the last couple days. So, the very first thing I want to talk about is kind of the freedom and autonomy side of things. Today was a very, very busy day. It's been a busy week in general, and I'll cover that in here in just a second. But I just want to let you know that the freedom and autonomy side of working for yourself is kind of a double-edged sword. It is outstanding to be able to work for yourself, but at the same time, you still working for yourself. You know, it is. We were talking about multi-level marketing and network marketing the last couple of days. One of the things that probably is so daunting for people in that particular industry is it can be great if you are a disciplined person, and absolutely horrible if you're a non-disciplined person, or if you stick to being a non-disciplined person, because you need to reach out to people, you need to talk to people. Having the best thing in the world, which I think this particular company is at least among them, if not the best. And I am going to turn this off. I forgot to turn this off, guys. But the company that I am representing, and if you have any questions, if you are intrigued about some of the things I've told you, again, I'm not going to talk about it here on rented space. But if you give me a private message, I'd be more than glad to talk to you. But one of the things that is going to happen is I've always used the analogy of being able to go out, build a absolute insane mall. It's got marble floors, it's got crystal chandeliers, it's got personal shoppers that walk you through, hold your bags, and the prices are lower than anywhere else. And it is just the most pleasing experience shop wise that you've ever had in your life. But the caveat to it is that you build it in the Sahara Desert, okay, where nobody knows it's out there and nobody can get to it. All right. The same thing is true of any opportunity, especially network marketing. If you build it, they won't come. Okay. You have to reach out. You have to go and find the people, and the lion's share of the people you talk to aren't going to be interested. I hate to burst your bubble, but you're going to have to talk to a lot of people before it ever comes to fruition. So working for yourself is the same way. You don't have the discipline to work, you're going to be in trouble. Okay, so I can tell you something about consistency, which is one of the things I have as today's topic in just a little bit. But a couple of the things I had to do today, strike that, I got to do today. That's something that I am going to be training myself as well, guys. I talked about it a couple days ago or yesterday, and it's still going to be something that I'm gonna have to slap myself every time I say it. I got to do a couple things today. My father-in-law unfortunately passed away recently, and we are putting together a slideshow for his celebration of life. And because I'm the tech guy in the family, I had everybody. I created a folder. Everybody was sending in pictures and remembrance of him, and so we were putting together the slideshow. And I knew the kind of day that I was going to have, and I didn't want to have to go back and forth with people. So I went right to my mother-in-law and had coffee with her this morning, and we went through picture by picture, and not only kind of finalized everything, but as we were doing it, we were resizing things and making sure that everything looked as great as we possibly could, so that we were able to just have a very good representation of him for people to look at throughout the celebration of life. Well, in a traditional day, this is Friday, I wouldn't have been able to do that. And this is not in any way, shape, or form poo pooing on traditional jobs, guys. But with that said, the freedom and autonomy of being able to go and sit with her, drink coffee, and do it at my leisure. What I thought was going to take maybe a half an hour ended up taking 2.5 hours. And I didn't feel like I was rushed. Okay, and actually it took 3 hours. So that alone is a blessing in disguise, because I didn't have to sit and go over something that is so important. It's only going to happen once. And we were able to go through and get those pictures done without having to look at the clock, without having to worry about a boss yelling at me, without having to do any of the traditional, kind of gotchas that you would have, where someone says, because these days, we're all carrying these around. So, your boss will say, hey, I've noticed that you're at the same place. It's not a business. What are you doing? Okay. And it's kind of like the old fast food thing of if you have time to lean, you have time to clean. So what are you doing? Why are you there? And they're not doing it to be malicious. They're not doing it to bust your chops. They're doing it because time is money. And if you're at a traditional job, you're building their business, and they want you to work. So you can't be mad about that. You wouldn't want somebody wasting your time. So you have to understand that. But being able to do that was just immensely awesome. I retired my wife years ago, and she was there. And even though she wasn't sitting with us the whole time, she was out working in the yard, pulling weeds and just doing all sorts of stuff, buzzing around at her mom's house while we were doing it. And so, two people were there having, and three, my mother-in-law is obviously retired, but she is, or we were able to sit there and go through everything, and that is an absolute blessing. So fast forward to coming home. When I come home, then I noticed that I needed to go and give blood, and so I got to do that. Luckily, it was in a town, just a town over, and I got to go give blood. And it was really, really kind of ironic, because while I was there was a gentleman that I used to work with that was talking about his day. And his day consisted of getting turned down to give blood, getting the squeaky wheel at the grocery store, and just a myriad of other things. And I sent him a message that said, that's a country music song. And, because all the bad things that were happening. And then I was then sitting there and talking to the young lady that was, testing my iron and whatnot. And so one of the benefits of going and giving blood is I'm a very positive person, and it just so happens my blood is B positive. All right, ironic, because I am a very positive person, so I always make B positive jokes the entire time. And she said, which finger would you care to to give a test for iron? I said, well, whichever one gives the best blood. And she laughed, and we laughed. And I always try to do that. My daughter and my wife hate it, But if I see your name tag, I'm going to use your first name and I'm going to laugh with you because it's not worth not making somebody smile. That is one of my favorite things to do, is to crack a joke to make somebody smile. So when it was time to give blood, it went fast, and I had a laugh with the young ladies that were doing it. She had a very hard time finding a vein, and she come over and she said, "I am so sorry." And I said, "Did you do it on purpose?" And she goes, "No." And I said, "Well, don't worry about it." And so another laugh. Made a joke post about if you want a way to get free juice, I got a tip for you. It was about giving blood. And so then I went and bought fresh honey. They always say that honey from your local area is the best for allergies and all that kind of stuff. And made a smile with that gentleman. And just, it was just a very, very good day of autonomy. Well, then I went to the location that we were going to have the celebration of life and found out that this is not going to work. I thought it was going to work because we worked very diligently on getting it. I was able to connect to my mother-in-law's TV, no problem. Went to the location for the celebration of life, and it was a no-go. But I knew that I have a MacBook that is also Apple, so I'll be able to move that album and access that album. More importantly, I believe that it carries over to your other stuff if it's part of your cloud. And so I'll use an HDMI cable, and later on today I'll go and check and see if that works. And if it does, I'll know that my portion of the celebration of life will be covered. So that whole consistency, and actually let's call that the freedom and the autonomy part. But I want to talk about the other stuff of the week, and that is I talked about the part that you need to be disciplined in your job, because the trains have to keep running. Even though I have that freedom and autonomy to do what I want, when I want, where I want, and I don't have a boss, I'm still a consultant to several people. So those people give me that freedom and autonomy because they don't care if I do it in the middle of the night, if right up before it's done, needed to be completed, whatever the case may be, as long as it gets completed. Well, on Wednesday, we launched the 245th episode of Warehouse Safety Tips. That's for my client Mighty Line, and I am fortunate enough to have done, as I mentioned, 245 weeks in a row with them. Never missed one. Okay, that's including hospital stays, vacations, going to conventions for them, for other things, you name it. Never missed a week, and we get that done because, number one, we work as a team. Sometimes they'll provide topics, and as of late always provide topics. I create the podcast, and it goes out like clockwork because I plan ahead. Okay, and I'm able to go do the things of my mother-in-law, do the things of my wife, help my kids, do whatever, whatever the case may be, and go to the convention that I was just at. But it takes consistency to do that, and consistency is something that it's behind me somewhere, and I'm not going to try to grab it, but I referenced it either yesterday or the last couple of days, and probably thousands of times before this. But Think and Grow Rich, they always talk about the secret of Think and Grow Rich. And I'm going to give you a spoiler alert. It's kind of like the Sixth Sense. He was dead the whole time. Well, if you haven't watched it yet, guys, I'm sorry, but the secret of Think and Grow Rich is action. Okay, taking action. And so if you are going through and doing the freedom and the autonomy thing, consistency is your friend. Benjamin Franklin said that persistence and energy, and let's just call persistence consistency, and let's call energy action, conquer all things. Okay, and that is absolutely true. Energy and persistence conquer all things. Remember that, learn it, know it, live it. If you're a fan of Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and you can hear Judge Reinhold's character Brad saying that, learn it, know it, live it. That is something that is going to absolutely help you throughout your world. Okay, so just know that things are going to happen. Okay, just like today, I had the slideshow that would have probably taken a half an hour, ended up taking 3 hours. I had the tech issues at the location for the celebration of life. I'm working on an alternative. The blood donation, I had completely slipped my mind because of all the other things that we have. I just got back from the convention. I'm still riding high on some of that energy, and then at the same time, the grieving of losing my father-in-law, and wanting to make sure that we got this stuff right. So just all sorts of confusion and whatnot. And if all that wasn't enough, now I'm starting to sound like the country music song that I was talked about today. With one of my accounts, actually with the Mighty Line account that I was just talking about, we had some server issues for our hosting, and propagating the servers and getting everything to switch over with hundreds of domain names, for some of the things that we have out there that are backlinks and whatnot. The information has been insane to get collaborated with the two hosting, or pardon me, the two domain name hosts, and then the hosting company, and just making sure everything plays right with the new servers. And it's just been I'm not going to call it a nightmare, because it's not been a nightmare, but it's been extremely frustrating, because every minute, every second, every hour, every day, every week, that there is a lack of those being out there. It's losing juice online, so that's weighing heavily on my mind. It's kind of like when you're waiting for a utility person to come, and they tell you, "I'll be there between the time of 8 and 5," and invariably you'll go and check your mail or something, and they will have come, or something. So in this case, they'll tell you, okay, it's going to be between 0 and 48 hours, 0 and 72 hours, for these things to propagate and whatnot. And so there's always something. But the thing that you need to know, just like my blood, be positive. Be positive. Make sure that you ride that consistency, strive for that consistency, and seek out that freedom and that autonomy. Because I got to tell you guys, working for yourself, all the stuff that I just mentioned are a drop in a bucket to the overall just weight being lifted off your shoulders, being able to work for myself, go up, grab food when I want, not on when the buzzer rings, or whatever the case may be, and know that as long as I'm getting this stuff done and it is filling the criteria that my clients have asked me to do, that we're okay, and we're okay. So today we got out the over 200th episode of, and actually way over 200th guest. And then Monday we will have the audio podcast of that go out. So it's just been an absolute great week. I'll let you in on a little secret. They are all good as long as you have your beloved oxygen habit. And I think that's all I got for you guys. So I hope that this week has been as good for you as it has for me. I hope that you're out there swinging at the fences, building wins, and just doing all the things that it takes to make your life better. If you have any questions for me, never hesitate to contact me. I am going to put one of those overlays up, and that is weswyatt.com/newsletter. Do me a favor, go there, sign up for that. I'm going to tell you about all the different income streams that I talk about. I'm going to talk about AI. AI is something that, guys, I'm going to tell you something. They talk about it's not going to be AI that takes your job necessarily. It's going to be somebody that knows how to use AI. I know how to use AI, and if I'm not enough, I know a couple people that can make AI do things that will blow your mind out of the water. And I can let you know what those are. Just go to weswyatt.com/newsletter. Get involved in getting into the loop of everything. I'll contact you. If you don't like what I send you, all you have to do is unsubscribe. So anyway, guys, that's all I got for you. It's been a long podcast. We're over 20 minutes here, but I get long winded when I'm excited about stuff, and all these topics excite me. So I hope that, again, you had a great week. I hope you are just absolutely ready for an awesome weekend. And as always, have a dynamite day. I'll talk to you later, guys. Bye-bye.